Out of the many incredible artifacts that have been recovered from sites in Iraq where flourishing Sumerian cities once stood, few have been more intriguing than the Sumerian King List. An ancient manuscript originally recorded in the Sumerian language, the Sumerian King List is a register of the kings of Sumer, ancient southern Iraq, from Sumerian and neighboring dynasties. The list includes their names, supposed reign lengths, and the locations of official kingship. What makes the Sumerian King List so unique is the fact that it blends apparently mythical pre-dynastic rulers with historical rulers who are known to have existed in real life. The first fragment of this rare and unique text, a 4,000-year-old cuneiform tablet, was found in the early 1900s by German-American scholar Hermann Hilprecht at the site of ancient Nippur, and his results were published in 1906. Since Hilprecht's discovery, at least 18 other exemplars of the King's List have been found, most of them dating from the second half of the Isen dynasty, 2017 to 1794 before Christ. No two of these documents are identical. However, there is enough common material in all versions of the Sumerian King List to make it clear that they are derived from a single, ideal account of Sumerian history. The Weld-Blundell prism. Among all the examples of the Sumerian King List, the Weld-Blundell prism in the Ashmolean Museum cuneiform collection in Augsburger represents the most extensive version as well as the most complete copy of the Sumerian King List. The 8-inch high, 2,032 centimeters prism contains 4 sides with 2 columns on each side. It is believed that the Weld-Blundell prism originally had a wooden spindle going through its center so that it could be rotated and read on all 4 sides. It lists rulers from the antediluvian, before the flood, dynasties to the 14th ruler of the Isen dynasty, 1763 to 1753 before Christ. The list is of immense value because it reflects very old traditions, while at the same time providing an important chronological framework relating to the different periods of kingship in Sumeria. It even demonstrates remarkable parallels to accounts in Genesis. Sumer's mythical past. Mythical figures in the Sumerian King List. The Sumerian King List begins with the very origin of kingship, which is seen as a divine institution. The kingship had descended from heaven. The rulers in the earliest dynasties are represented as reigning fantastically long periods. After the kingship descended from heaven, the kingship was in Eridug. In Eridug, Alulim became king. He ruled for 28,800 years. Alaljar ruled for 36,000 years. 2 kings, they ruled for 64,800 years. Some of the rulers mentioned in the early list, such as Etana, Lugal-Banda, and Gilgamesh, are mythical or legendary figures whose heroic feats are subjects of a series of Sumerian and Babylonian narrative compositions. The early list names 8 kings with a total of 241,200 years from the time when kingship descended from heaven to the time when the flood swept over the land, and once more the kingship was lowered from heaven after the flood. The Sumerian King List and its relation to Genesis. Some scholars, Egg Bryant G. Wood, 2003, have drawn attention to the fact that there are remarkable similarities between the Sumerian King List and accounts in Genesis. For example, Genesis tells the story of the Great Flood and Noah's efforts to save all the species of animals on earth from destruction. Likewise, in the Sumerian King List, there is discussion of a great deluge, where the text states that the flood swept over the earth. The Sumerian King List provides a list of 8 kings, some versions have 10, who reigned for long periods of time before the flood, ranging from 18,600 to 43,000 200 years. This is similar to Genesis 5, where the generations from creation to the flood are recorded. Interestingly, between Adam and Noah, there are 8 generations, just as there are 8 kings between the beginning of kingship and the flood in the Sumerian King List. Ancient Babylonian reborn after having been silenced for 2,000 years. The Code of Ur-Nammu, when ancient Sumerians laid down the law, everyone obeyed. After the flood, the King List records kings who ruled for much shorter periods of time. Thus, the Sumerian King List not only documents a great flood early in man's history, but it also reflects the same pattern of decreasing longevity as found in the Bible. Men had extremely long lifespans before the flood and much shorter lifespans following the flood. The Sumerian King List truly is a perplexing mystery. Why would the Sumerians combine mythical rulers with actual historical rulers in one document? Why are there so many similarities with Genesis? Why were ancient kings described as ruling for thousands of years? These are just some of the questions that still remain unanswered after more than a century of research.